Hey everyone, welcome to my channel Handcrafted by Smita. In today's tutorial, I'll show you how to make a stylish necktie from scratch. Whether you're new to sewing or you have some experience, this step-by-step guide will help you create a professional quality tie with ease. So grab your fabric, scissors and sewing kit and let's get started. If you find this tutorial helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the bell icon for more DIY fashion tips. So I've used my own pattern to make this tie and link to this PDF pattern can be found in the description box below. Outer sleeves of this necktie are cut on bias and this is most important. I have two main pieces ready here which I have already cut using the pattern and these are on the diagonal grain of the fabric. So let's learn how to get these crisp looking points at the end of the tie. Let's begin our process.
Okay, so what we have done is we folded the fabric in half and we fold this also in half. Just keep it exactly in the corner like so, making sure the line is straight. Now what you have to do is you have to draw one line here, keeping this straight here. Make sure that this line should match this line. We have to make sure that the line matches. That's it. So this has to match exactly, and then we just fold and cut this to the point that we want. Perfect. So this is what is our tie neck piece. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw 0.75 from this edge. So what are we doing is we are drawing 0.75 from the edge, both sides. Yeah, and then we draw a 1/4 inch here from this side, keeping this straight like so, and we draw a 1/4 inch here like so. So this point should match here, right? So this one is done, the tie keep for this. All right, let's do for the second part. So we are going to just fold this as well in half. Perfect. And then we take this again, I'm going to fold it, iron it so that I get a nice and crisp edge here. Then keep it exactly the way I did for the first one. Take my ruler.
Now here, whatever angle you draw, that's what is going to be seen in the finished tie end. If you draw a 45-degree angle here, you will see a 45-degree angle in the finished tie end. So whatever you draw here, the tie will take it. Let's just not draw any angle and just cut the two pieces of the fabric together. You can do this without drawing any line. This will make sure, we just need to make sure that the lining fabric and the outer fabric are cut exactly to the size of each other. So just keep on top of each other and cut it really nicely. You just need to make sure the edge, outer edge of the two fabrics are exactly the same. And that's what we need to make sure of.
To take 0.75 as I take. Now I'm going to draw one line, and same here. Take 0.75, draw a line, and here I'm going to make sure the tip here matches and just make a line. From here to the tip.
So our two pieces are ready along with the tip linings. Let's take all these pieces to our sewing machine and see how to work with them. Let's open both the pieces. Now what we have to do is, the line, you remember we had drawn at the edge of the lining tip. We have to align this straight line here to the edge of the outer fabric. So let's just align this properly, matching the tips points. And pin it, making sure the line that we had drawn matches with the outer edge of the fabric. Just make sure that all the fabrics are lying flat, and pin the tip as well. Let's pin this tip. And now we stitch from this point at the edge to the very tip of the line. Make sure don't go beyond the point, just to the point that we had marked on the tip of the lining, like you see here. So let's not go beyond this particular point. Now remove all the pins, flip your fabric, lay it flat, and just follow the fold that you had made on the outer fabric. Again, repeating the same process of aligning this particular line that you see on the tip with the outer edge of the fabric. So let's make sure that this particular point lines with the outer edge here, like so. Pin it in its place, and also make sure the line perfectly matches the outer fabric. Pin it here as well. Now make sure the rest of the fabric is lying flat, including the lining and the outer fabric. Pin it in place. Now we are going to stitch from this point here to this point here. Now once we are done with the two edges, we see the two lines are perfectly meeting in the center. This is really important. Now fold the fabric together, match the edges and pin them in place. Lay the fabric flat, and now we are going to draw a line from the tip to the end, a straight line like so. We'll stitch on this line from this point to the end of the fabric. Let's make a stitch here. So once we are done with the stitching, we'll get rid of the extra threads. And now we clip the extra bulk of the fabric from the tip so that when we turn, it lays flat. And now just turn it inside out like so. With the help of a skewer, I'm going to push the end so that I get a nice and a sharp tip. And that's how we finish one end of the necktie. All that is left now is to iron it really nicely. Let's proceed on to the other end of the necktie. I've already made one stitch line here.
So yes, it is sharp now. So we will fold this tie from here and we'll pull this in the front, matching this line here, from here and this line to this place. So let's just fix this properly like so. Yeah, and then pin. Pin. This should lay flat, this should lay flat, this should lay flat. So here is our pin. Perfect. Now what we are going to stitch from this point to this point. Let's do that. So once you've done those two lines, what you do is you take and fold this okay, then you fold this bit, make a line. If you want to make a permanent line there, draw a straight line here. So we are going to stitch on that red line, which is this. Okay. So that is what we get. Now we'll cut this excess from here.
So now we turn it inside out and take a skewer to push the fabric out to get a sharp end there. Like so. We are done with the second end of the tie, which is the narrow edge. Once we are done with the tips of the tie, it is time to attach the two pieces together. Lay the two pieces over each other like so, matching the edges. Make sure this angle is 90 degrees here. And we are going to stitch from this tip onwards. We'll stitch from this tip to the step. So once you have stitched all the three parts, we flatten the tip and the base of the tie like so and give it a nice iron. Make sure all the parts are lying flat. One by one we will iron all the three parts that we have stitched. Now it's time to iron the narrow edge of the tie. Now once we have ironed everything nicely, we'll turn the tie inside out again. And you see this line here, which is the fold line of the tie outside. See if I show you from outside, it is this line, which is the edge of the tie, this one. Make sure you mark the right line here. Turn it inside out, fold it in half likewise, and mark this line here. It is really important line when we are doing the stitching. Now we match the points together and put a pin there. Now we'll mark half an inch from the edge and we'll mark our stitching line. Make sure we stitch only to this tip and not beyond. Draw another line on the tip and we stitch from here to here and from this point to onto this line. See, make sure that you stitch to this point and then turn 90 degrees. We'll repeat exactly the same process at the other end of the tie. Once we are done with the stitching, we'll turn it inside out and making sure all the seams are lying flat and aligning the center of the tie with the tip of the tie. Make sure they are in the same line. Give it a nice iron so that it lays flat. Now this is the width of the tie that you get. I am getting 3¼ inches here. Now if you feel this is too wide, then what you do is you just reverse it again and pinch it from inside like so here. So if I pinch a 1/4 inch, it will become 3 inches wide. If I pinch it even further, it will become a narrower tie. So it is that easy to make the correct width of your tie that you're looking for. All you have to do is turn it inside out and follow that line and stitch it on that line as per the width you need. Make sure that you give a cut here so that it lays flat. Open all the seams so that the tie is nice and flat. Once the whole tie is ironed nice and flat, it is time to put the wool interlining in the tie. This interlining is also cut on bias. I have cut the tips interlining and I'm putting it in place like so. Just tap it and make sure it's not folded from anywhere and just check it is in its place. Iron it once the lining is in its place. Likewise, we'll do the second, the narrower tip as well. Using the same process, we'll put it in. Make sure the tip is all the way to the end. And once you are satisfied, just pin it so that it doesn't move. It is time to interline the whole tie. I have this iron-on sew-in tape. I'm going to arrange it on the edge, which is the stitching line, the folded stitching line, and arrange the wool interlining right where my tip has ended, like so. And iron it in place. Repeat the same process for the whole tie. Make sure that you are aligning the iron-on tape on the stitching, the folded fabric of the tie inside folded fabric of the tie, and iron. This will ensure the wool interlining is stuck to the inside of the tie and it is not going to shift when you turn it inside out. Just follow the same process and get all the way to the end of the tie. Take out the excess wool interlining. We don't want to bulk here. It is time to turn the tie inside out now. I'm using a loop turner here. I will now just clip the narrow end of the tie to the end of the loop turner like so, and making sure it is secure. I'm going to start turning the tie. Because we have ironed on the wool interlining, we are sure that nothing is going to shift and everything will lay in its place. So just little by little, keep moving the loop turner and shift the material little by little. And once the turner is out of the tie, just push little material at a time, making sure the tip of the tie is securely in, and turn the whole tie inside out. We are almost done here. All we need is a good press, a good iron on the tie, and our tie is ready. Make sure the center line is in alignment with the tip and give it a nice iron. Continue to iron the tie like so, making sure the center line, stitching line is lying in the center. All that is left now is to make the keep for the tie. I have used a fabric scrap, turned it like so, ½ inch wide. Place it 12 inches from the tip of the tie. Fold it in. This you can hand stitch from the top. Measure the width. Yeah. And we'll just do the hand stitching like so. Put your label in. And here it is. Our tie is all ready. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this tutorial helped you learn how to make your own tie with confidence. If you would like to save time and get perfect results each time, go and grab the printable PDF pattern from my Etsy shop. I'll provide the link in the description box below. Keep creating, stay inspired, and remember, handmade always carries a piece of your heart. See you in the next video. Till then, bye and you take care.